all the goodness of a traditional apple crumble served in individual portions. Serve these baked apples with vanilla bean ice cream and homemade caramel sauce for the perfect dessert. Start by making the crumble topping for the apples. Measure out a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour and add to a small bowl, followed by 1/3 cup of rolled oats. Using a mixture of flour and rolled oats for this crumble creates the perfect crispy texture that you just don't get by using only flour. If you would like the full recipe, it will be on my website, as well as all of the measurements listed in the information box below. To the flour and rolled oats, add a teaspoon of cinnamon, the perfect pairing with apples, and 2 tablespoons of soft brown sugar for some sweetness. Use a fork to mix the ingredients together until they are just combined. This crumble recipe is a favourite of mine. It works perfectly with these baked apples, but you can also use it for a traditional crumble, or try adding it on top of any type of fruit flavoured muffin before you put them into the oven to bake. Once the dry ingredients are combined, add the cold cubed butter. You can do this part with a fork if you would like, but it's a lot easier to just use clean, dry hands. Use your hands to mix the butter into the dry ingredients until there are no longer any lumps. It's important to use cold butter here so it won't just melt between your fingers. Continue to mix until there are no longer any lumps of butter and the crumble resembles coarse breadcrumbs. Set to the side while preparing the apples. For this recipe, I've chosen to use Fuji apples because that was what was available. These are good to cook or bake with, but there are many more varieties you can choose from. Texture is the most important thing here. Make sure to choose an apple that will hold together well when placed into the oven and won't just turn into apple sauce. Gala, Granny Smith and Honeycrisp are popular varieties. Take your apples and remove the core either with a knife or much easier to do with an apple corer. You want to remove the middle of the apple, leaving a hole through the centre. Next, use a knife to remove the top of the apple, leaving a shelf where the crumble will be. Place each of your apples onto a baking sheet that has been sprayed so the apples won't stick. The recipe will make enough for 6 apples, but the great thing about this recipe is it's so much easier to make more. If you're cooking for a crowd, simply double or triple the amount of crumble to top all of the apples. When all of your apples have been prepared, take the crumble and start to top each of the apples. Sprinkle it over the top and press it down with your hands. Quite a bit of the crumble may fall onto the baking sheet, but don't worry about that, it's deliciously crunchy once it's been baked. Divide the crumble evenly between the 6 apples and place into the oven to bake for about 15 minutes or until the crumble is golden brown and the apples are soft. Serve with vanilla bean ice cream and homemade caramel sauce, or for a healthier approach, yogurt and honey work perfectly too. If you try these baked apples, don't forget to send me a picture. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I will see you in my next video. Bye!